Hello, hello,
Alô, boa tarde, boa noite, aliás.
boa tarde.
Ah,
Como é que é? Isto vai ser em inglês ou em português? Olá, Carlos, tudo bem? Já não te vi há algum tempo.
Olá, tudo bem?
Está tudo bem contigo?
Tudo?
Tiago, estamos de volta, o que é que se passou?
não sei, diz-me tu é que me
A mal-
desencaminhaste.
a malta andava a queixar-se que a Seita andava desaparecida, né? Já não nos reuníamos há algum tempo. O que é que se passou?
Arranjaste aí uns convidados especiais para hoje, pá.
Ok. Olha, bem-vindos a todos. A Seita número 116, Seita especial, dedicada aqui ao Protocolo ARK, ok? Que tem visto grandes progressos nos últimos tempos, graças a estes dois rapazes que aqui estão presentes hoje, o Carlos e o Matthew, que é canadiano. Eu recentemente tive a oportunidade de estar com o Matthew na conferência que decorreu agora no Porto, da celebração dos 100 anos do Murray Rothbard. E ele foi-me contando ao longo da estadia um pouco daquilo que tem vindo a acontecer com o protocolo ARK ao redor do mundo, os improvements que têm sido feitos, e eu decidi por bem, olha, porque não fazemos um convidado porque não fazemos um episódio aqui dedicado ao ARK, chamando o Matthew, introduzindo a comunidade portuguesa também, e trazendo o seu colega, que agora é parceiro de trabalho, o Carlos, que já aqui compareceu no podcast por 2 ou 3 vezes,
Com outros projetos também.
com outros projetos, exatamente. Mas pronto, começar. Vamos aqui introduzir o Matthew. Matthew, I'll switch to English. Could you please introduce yourself to the Portuguese Pleb community? Doesn't know
Okay.
you?
In English.
Yeah, in English or Portuguese, if you know
Can you
it.
do it in Portuguese?
Ok. Meu nome é Matthew, sou de Canadá. Estou trabalhando no ARK Protocol com Carlos. And we're live. Estamos live on mainnet.
We're
With the
live.
ARK Protocol. Yeah, you could use it today. We're living in the future. The future of payments is here. That's what I would say.
Okay. Tell us a bit more about your Bitcoin story. How much Bitcoin do you have?
I don't have any Bitcoin, but I don't know much about it. My Bitcoin story began a long time ago. I actually first discovered Bitcoin through the libertarian community. It was through the stream of Ron Paul in America and American libertarianism that led me to Murray Rothbard, which led me to Hans Hermann Hoppe. And then I would go on websites many years ago where I would read Austrian economics things. And then Bitcoin was very connected with the two. Like we use the money, and it was also very connected with agorism at the time, which we don't hear about as much today as we do anarcho-capitalism. But the idea would be that we use the digital currencies to transact with each other outside of the state apparatus. And then I went to my first ever Bitcoin meetup, which was a Bitcoin core developer meetup in Toronto. And Peter Todd was leading the meeting. And this is actually before Lightning was active. So Peter Todd, he put in a opcode, check sequence verify, I believe in 2016. He was the author of it. And then that is what makes Lightning work. It's one of the things involved in making Lightning work. So that was my first Bitcoin meetup and introduction to the developer community. And then I did other things for a couple of years. And then I said, okay, now time to come back and get hands-on with Bitcoin dev. And then through, coming back, doing all of the developer resources, learning how to build transactions, learning how the protocol works through things like the Base 58 program, through the Chain Code Labs program. By doing these different programs, I was able to get hands-on with the code, which led me to the people who created Second, the founders of the company. I met them at an event, and I joined the team. And then Carlos joined me not too long after. And here we are today shipping. That's my trajectory of Bitcoin history.
Wow, nice story. Nice story. So, tell us a bit about ARK, I guess.
Yeah, ARK is really interesting because what it is, it's kind of hard to define it sometimes because people say, is it something alternative to Lightning? No, what ARK really is a client server model. So there's something called the ARK server, and there's many different clients attached to it. And what the client really is the backend to your wallet. So I can continue using a Bitcoin wallet just like anybody else would. I can send and receive Bitcoin payments on chain with Lightning, but instead of having to manage channels, instead of having to manage my own liquidity, open channels, close channels, have a node on my phone, all of that is taken away from me. And there's one server, and the server actually has a real world location. It lives on the border between France and Belgium. If you ping if you ping the URL, there is like a location, and it's between the border of France and Belgium. And what you're doing is you're abstracting away the liquidity management of the Lightning to that server. But the server is not a custodian. It's only coordinating transactions for you. So it's coordinating sending a payment, coordinating receiving a Lightning payment. It's not the same thing as using custodial Lightning. So that's a quick summary experientially. So if you're using ARK as the end user, you could use a wallet that just works. Like Carlos today, he put out some really good videos on Twitter where he was just buying a beer, and you don't even know that it's ARK that he's using to buy the beer. You're just making a Bitcoin payment. So you, to the end user, you just say, oh, well, this has the user experience of custodial Lightning. But instead of having Lightning channels, you're storing the money on the phone itself in these things called VTXOs. It's a virtual UTXO. So when you have on-chain, when you look at your wallet, the wallet doesn't just have like one balance. It's like a physical wallet with different amounts of paper money in it, right? You have one UTXO for 1,000 sats, another UTXO for 10,000 sats. And then when you go spend them, you're spending a particular UTXO, and then you get change back. It's the same way with ARK. So with ARK on your device, let's say you have a UTXO or a VTXO, a virtual UTXO for 100,000 sats, and then you want to make a Lightning payment. What you're doing is you can spend that VTXO, the ARK server, the coordinator, also called the captain, he will then make that payment for you for 30,000 sats, and then you're receiving back 70,000 in change. So you get that same really convenient, familiar layer one on-chain Bitcoin experience of knowing how your money exists on the device, but you're sending the payments in and out as if you were doing Lightning. That's how it would be most familiar to a user to use the ARK. And another benefit actually is that ARK is really good for network effects. So if you are sending an outbound Lightning payment to a Lightning address to somebody outside of the ARK, like they're running their own Lightning node, they're running their own Lightning infrastructure, then you're making an outbound Lightning payment. But if both you, the sending client, and the receiving client are on the same ARK, then there's no transaction fee. It's an intra-ARK payment. So if you have an entire community embrace using ARK payments together, then they're all able to transact with each other and keep the money in their system, keep the money on their actual devices, and never have to lose custody of that. The reason that a VTXO is really good is because it actually contains in it the fullness of the pre-signed transactions that you need to broadcast your exit off chain and return back to layer one Bitcoin. So when you hold a VTXO in your wallet, you're not just holding a leaf. You are not just holding a pointer to money on somebody else's server. The money is not living with the ARK server. The money is living with you on your phone, It could be on your node at home. Carlos, he made this amazing Bark web that you can put on your Umbral, on your Start9. So you can have your VTXOs living in the box at home, and then you can go outside and make payments in the real world, but you know the physical location of your money at all times. And I think that might even be a world's first in Bitcoin, because you know, like, okay, my VTXOs exist as these files on this particular disk in this place. I think that's very important for self-sovereignty and payments.
Okay, but before heading forward, I think there are some questions that need to be answered. Like we already had João Bordal, which I think works on the Protocol ARK as well, but on another team or
Yes.
implementation. A competitor to yours, I think. I don't know if I'm sure about that, or if that's a good word to put it in. I guess.
Yeah.
So from the answer we got from Bordalo back in the day, we didn't see ARK competing with Lightning, but leveraging the current Lightning network and well, leveraging the Lightning network to reach places it could not reach at prices it could not settle at convenience it could not be used in. I don't know if this is a good way to put it, but what's your stance on the current situation on Lightning? Do you think do you see ARK fully replacing Lightning, or do you agree with this viewpoint where we use Lightning as a bridge and we put the ARK at the edges of the Lightning network? What's your stance on it?
I think that ARK is going to be a big way that people use Lightning if the community wants that. You know, people still have to opt into the service. Like the service is there, people are using it for payments. One of the big things is ARK as a channel factory by Rene Pickart. He's a really brilliant guy, Bitcoin researcher on the Lightning Network. And he talks about how, you know, with ARK, you have these intermittent transactions that make the system happen called round transactions on chain. And he even suggests that when those round transactions happen, right now they're used to refresh funds in the ARK. But he says, no, it should not be just to refresh the funds. Those should also be changing the Lightning Network itself. Those should be opening and closing channels and rerouting how the structure of the Lightning Network exists. So it's positioning, right here, ARK is a channel factory. I would say go to the delving post. There's if you type in, yes, this is the one. This is really good. He goes in depth to explain his vision of how ARK is not something alternative to Lightning, but rather ARK could be the way that we do Lightning. I think, and another difference between João Bordal, you mentioned he's with Arcade. There's two different ARKs. And I like to think that we're friends more than we're enemies. I think that we're allies. That's my position.
But why are there two implementations of the ARK protocol?
I think they it's not that they work differently, but they went different routes, I guess. But Matthew can explain.
Yeah, so ARK, as we know it today, was defined and presented by somebody named Barak in 2023. And he presented his vision of what ARK is, which is the most familiar to what we have today. There's a lot of differences between what ARK is right now and what he initially suggested. So right now, like the way we do the out of round payments, the way we do the Lightning, a lot of that has changed, but the same fundamental structure is there that both Arcade and Bark both follow. And I believe what happened was that there was originally a team that involved all of these people together, including the original people from Second and the original people from Arcade. And they had a disagreement, and they said, we have two different visions of what this technology should be used for. And what Arcade wants is that they want to do programmable money. They want it to be like the world computer. They're doing swaps between Ethereum, layer 2s. They're doing like all sorts of like programmatic DeFi lending and borrowing. They're using the ARK structure of the tree, the timeout tree, in order to do those tasks. And then second, what Carlos and I work on, we're led by Stephen Roos, who said, no, the vision of what this should be is exclusively for Lightning, to push Lightning to its maximum potential, to get virtual channels, channel factories, get everybody to be able to use Lightning payments in a fully self-custodial way. We have this very, very narrow, specific vision of what we're building. And that is where the two visions of the two, originally they were teammates together, and then they divided to go in their own direction. And I support them well on their journey.
So they're okay. So basically, the Arcade team is trying to leverage the ARK protocol to do basically what we're not able to do on the main chain on chain of Bitcoin, right? Because of its technical limitations, and leveraging the okay. No, it's well. I must say I've been placing an eye on the Arcade team. I think their output has been really good. They're deploying really cool stuff. To be honest, I cannot say which of you have the correct vision. I think both you guys are right on your stances, but let's see the market unfold. So where would you put? I have a question. Where would be I also made this question to João Bordalo before, but what in your head? What would be the optimal use case for ARK currently? Like,
I think the optimal use case for ARK exists for users who are using Lightning wallets on their phone. I think that's a big one. It's also very good for payouts for exchanges and Lightning payment gateways. So one case study recently, somebody we're partnering with is Tando in Africa, where they work with M-Pesa. And what they do right now, I actually have a few slides on this that show how this works. I can present it. Share my screen. So right now, what Tando is, you can all see what I'm sharing. Yes?
yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay, great. So what Tando is that they are a payment gateway, and this is their current setup. So they use Tando application in the front, and then they use Phoenix at the back. And then they use the Phoenix LSP, the Lightning Service Provider. And what they do is they receive inbound Lightning payments from customers who want to purchase real things in Kenya. So in Africa, in Kenya, when you go to the checkout at the store, they have like a number code next to the till, and it says till number 53261. And then what everybody does is they pull out their Kenyan cell phone, which could even be like an old cell phone, like it doesn't have to be advanced. And then they type in that number, and then they can route the payment through the mobile phone company. So it's like a privately issued mobile money. And Africa has a lot of these different companies. So what people can do, like Tando, for example, is they create a gateway. So you pay Tando, you go to the till and you say, I want to send this coffee shop 500 Kenyan shillings for my coffee that I ordered. So you type in the number of the shop and then you type in 500 shillings to send them. And then a Lightning invoice pops up on your phone. And what you do is you then pay that invoice, and then Tando, the company, they pay the merchant on your behalf, and then you're giving them Lightning. But in order for them to have a receiving capacity, they have to pay upfront a 1% fee. So if they want to have a receiving capacity of $100,000, they have to pay $1,000 upfront to this company called Async in order to make that happen. And that's so expensive, like 1%. So what happens once you start doing millions of dollars worth of revenue, right? Like you're paying all this money for inbound liquidity. So what we were able to do with Tando as a case study is that you can actually just pry off the application layer and disconnect it from the old Lightning node. And then you take Bark, and then you can actually reattach Bark to Tando. So then what happens is that you're using Second, and Second is only charging you 0.2 to 0.5% fee, and you're using Second's Lightning Gateway in order to send and receive Bitcoin payments. So now somebody goes to a coffee shop in Kenya, and then they create a QR code, which is a unified invoice. And if somebody is using a regular Lightning wallet, say wallet of Satoshi, it's not using ARK, then when they go to pay that invoice, it will route as a Lightning payment through the ARK Lightning Gateway over to Tando. So Tando now owns a VTXO, like we described earlier, of say 500 sats or however much money it was. But if they were to do it with an ARK enabled wallet, they could do that same payment with no fee. But either way, Tando is at an advantage because they only have to pay for exactly the liquidity that they use. Before, even if the receiving capacity is empty, like if I want to receive $1 million, I have to pay $10,000 at the beginning before I even received $1. So I have to front that money at the start. That's called the inbound liquidity problem. And what ARK does is it says, no, you can receive for free inbound as much as you like. Is just when you take the money out of the system, we're going to charge you 0.2 to 0.5% fee. So it completely flips the fee model of the LSP. And anywhere that you would use an LSP, a Lightning Service Provider, you would be better off using ARK. That's one really narrow, excellent use case that came to us as a surprise to us. And it makes a real difference because Tando is actually used in the real world, and they are able to cut down their operating costs by 50 to 80% by switching over to ARK and saying, no, we don't want to use Lightning service providers anymore. That's a recent study.
I have a question. Where does the fee come from? Like management fees, operation costs? What?
The fees for which fee are you describing?
That 0.2 to 0.5% from Second.
That's the money to withdraw the money out from the ARK.
Okay.
So if I have an ARK balance on my phone, say it's 100,000 sats, I can send to any other ARK wallet at no fee. But if I want to pay myself in on-chain Bitcoin, if I want to pay myself Lightning to a Lightning invoice or an address that exists outside of the ARK server, then you can send that money, but it will be deducted 0.2 to 0.5% of the fee, the money that you're taking out.
You told us about Kenya. What's going on there? Have you guys already deployed the ARK in Kenya?
Yeah,
what are the current?
That's what he was saying about this Tando.
Yeah. What have been the results of that deployment?
So currently, we're launching with Tando's new interface that hasn't come out yet. So we're currently testing it in staging right now. I was in Africa last month with the Tando team, and we built the proof of concept together, and now we're working on bringing it live.
That's really cool. What has been the reception from Kenyan people, I guess?
The Kenyan people have responded very positively, and the reason why is that their mobile money systems, it's very, very different from Europe. Like, I was so surprised learning about all these things. What they have is you pay, there's this company called Safaricom. And what Safaricom does is that they have, they're the mobile phone provider for Kenya. And what they do is they give cell phone service to Kenyans all across the country, even people in poor areas, in rural areas, and everybody has cell phones, and they all send each other these digital payments. But the transaction fees on these payments are so high that even if everybody is like neighbors, like we're all in the same village and we're all transacting with each other every day, our money is their money, sorry, is being siphoned away from them back to the company through the transaction fees. So they find it very liberating to say, okay, I have my local community, dare I call it a circular economy, where I have a few limited people in my network and I'm making many transactions with them every day. We don't have to pay fees to some other person far away from where I'm located in order to make that happen. So that's been a very positive reception, and also being able to, so Tando does not charge fees to their users, actually. So they're not even taking a cut on the top for themselves on the Lightning receives. So it's a huge burden that they are lifted off by being able to cut their operating costs so dramatically. And it shows how capital inefficient Lightning has been up to this point.
Oh, that's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Calling Lightning liquidity inefficient is
It's not inefficient. I'd say the LSP in Asonc is getting greedy, but yeah, you could, if Tando wants to operate a Lightning node, maybe they could reduce their costs. But I do get your point that it's not an easy task, and I think they are much better off using ARK, yes, and using the VTXOs. I think it makes more sense.
It's a market for liquidity. It's a liquidity market, an open liquidity market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go.
So, but when you say the async LSP, does it work like the Phoenix wallet or the Phoenix D on the server, that you pay them? I don't know. I believe if you want to for them to open a channel for you with 2 million, I guess, $1 million, you have to pay them 20K, but you do not pay up front. They keep, when you keep receiving until you get to the 20K sats, and then they take them.
Thank you for clarifying that. That's correct. Thank you that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, but it is, when you are talking about the LSP, or it's the same method, right? So Tando needs $100,000 or whatever of liquidity, and they don't want it to yeah. I get the picture. Yeah, but it's probably the same. Yeah. And also, and maybe Carlos can chip in on this one. This or something similar could be made in Portugal, for example. Like, I don't know, MBWay, through MBWay or through an operator, a telecom operator. Is it possible to do the same thing that they do in Kenya?
Carlos might know better than me. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's fine.
I guess it's always up to them, right?
Yeah.
To implement things. So.
But it would be possible, right?
To
I don't know. Let's take a Mel or Noz or whatever, or I don't know. But if they want it, it would be. I'm not gonna say easy, but fairly straightforward to achieve. That's cool, and that's good to know. Maybe we can lobby them.
Yeah, our code is fully open source, both the client and the server, so they would be in high confidence to implement and to have unilateral exit if they want to exit the system if we don't respond. And yeah, it's pretty easy to implement. It's just up to them to
call you for implementation.
What?
To call you guys for implementation.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's easy, and yeah, but I don't think they would be inclined to do that.
Yeah, it's probably there's probably some legal shit with that, but yeah, I think it would be a cool experiment. But some of these, I don't know, new telecom things that pop, like the DG one that showed up recently.
For sure.
At least it would be a differentiator for anyone that step forward.
Yes.
Something really cool I'm excited to share is a little tour of the Noah's Ark wallet. So I have it here. Maybe I can send Carlos a payment over the air. And I'm going to show you live on here how the VTXOs actually work. So you'll notice that when you look at my balance, I have a single unified balance right now. You can see I got 368,000 sats, about 232 American dollars. If I go into my settings page and we look at my actual VTXOs, you'll notice that the money doesn't exist as one unit. The money is existing in all of these different discrete virtual UTXOs. So each of these were a different unique block of money. And when you add them all together, then it will sum up to my total balance. But when I go to send money, I can go send Bitcoin to somebody with Lightning or on-chain or so on. It just spends from those balance of VTXOs.
It's just like Bitcoin works, right?
Just
Instead
like
of
how
this,
Bitcoin works.
but it's virtual UTXOs. Yeah.
And when we look at the virtual UTXO, right? So let's take a look at this one in particular. It has 288,000 sats of value. I'm going to go down to the bottom to look at something called the anchor point. What the anchor point is because the VTXO is not just a leaf. Another term for it is the Genesis chain. It takes you all the way back to a real on-chain transaction in mempool space. I can see that my money actually exists in this on-chain transaction. It was mined by Spiderpool 3 weeks ago. And if you look at the output, so there's an output right here. It's a Taproot output, 0.01 BTC. Yeah. But when I actually go to my VTXO details, right, I go to look at here, it's only 288,000. So there's a tree off chain, a Taproot tree, and I have this allocation of that 0.01 output. That's a
one thing you interested me is you have so it's unified. Yeah, it's the VTXOs, but when I want to spend, can I spend it regardless? I can spend to on-chain, ARK, Lightning. I just scan like a BIP21 QR code and do the payment.
Yeah, maybe Carlos can pull up his on screen and I could scan his.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah, let's do some ARK transactions live. Let's go.
Yeah.
Here I have my RK wallet. It's a different wallet. Is using Noah. I'm using RK, and yeah, so I can just request a payment for 1,000 sats, and I can create a QR code, and then Matthew can scan it. If it's the light.
The streaming problems.
That's all white.
Yeah, it's all right.
Maybe you cannot, right?
Turn the. No, it's a problem with the color of the QR code.
Yeah.
And the light of your camera.
Yeah, no, it's just white. It doesn't
Maybe
scan.
It's really bright. No,
yeah,
no.
that yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
no, it's good. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Can you scan it?
I'm scanning it right now.
Just
yeah, right here. Pull back on my screen.
Yeah. I'm sure your screen. Wait.
No, but yeah.
Yeah,
so
there it is.
You scanned it, right?
Yes.
Now.
So it's a BIP 132, right? 130. 2. I don't know, the 1321. So he can choose the route. So the ARK route is free. He can choose another route if he wants. but the ARK payments are free. So
I'm gonna send the ARK
on chain, yeah. So ARK payments are free, and you can send, and then I can receive the payment, and I just receive it right here.
Wow.
So could these transactions be offline or only the receiving part? Could these transactions could be made offline?
No, you need to be online to send.
To send.
You need the coordinator to do the. You need to send it to the server, to the coordinator, and the
Yes.
coordinator sends to Carlos.
Yes. At the time of the send, you and the coordinator are co-signing together. You're doing a co-signature that my 1,000 sats moves over to Carlos.
I think Carlos can be offline, but you need to be the sender need to be online, right?
That's correct. Yes, ARK receive is offline. You can do offline ARK receives. You don't have to be there. The ARK is using a mailbox.
That's already a big step over Lightning, because the both parties need to be online. That's mitigated with LNURL, but that would be a whole other conversation.
Okay.
So what's the name of the wallets you were using, Matthew? I think you were using Noah.
Yeah, I was using Noah wallets, and it's named because it's the ARK protocol. It's Noah's Ark, like in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually has the Bible in the app.
Oh fuck! No, now I'm not gonna use it. And you, Carlos?
So I'm using RK. It's a more like UX focused, UI focused wallet. It's really pretty, really easy to use. You can even do this, and you can. Yeah.
What's the name of the wallet? What's the name of the wallet?
ARKE with like the thing on top.
ARK.
Yeah.
ARK.cash. Okay. I have it on my screen. You guys can see it here. So these are two implementations of that second ARK protocol, right? Or they're leveraging the second ARK protocol. These are two wallets made leveraging the.
Yeah, they're two wallets using the same implementation of ARK. They're both using Bark, which is our implementation, and they're both using a Bark client in the back end to power the app. That's what they're using.
And when I request a payment, it generates a BIP 321 URI. So even wallets that don't support ARK yet, they can pay over Lightning, and then I receive a VTXO on my RK wallet.
That sounds really cool, man. So, do you guys need any more funding, or you're done? So the thing is, the main question is about like. So this is the current state of things. What's on the roadmap for the future of ARK?
Our main focus right now is on getting things working 100% of the time with like real reliability, getting this really, really production ready, stress testing the system live on mainnet, and just so that we can be that firm layer of trusted foundational payment infrastructure that can power Lightning payments. That is number one. Any other additional feature on the roadmap cannot compromise that. There's one Bitcoin fund, because the Silicon Valley mentality is move fast and break things, and there was one Bitcoin fund that was move slow and build things. So that's a very that's one thing. Another thing is getting our delegated refreshes up. That's something on our horizon right now on our roadmap. So currently there are liveness requirements. That's the one arrow in the knee of ARK. That's the one weakness, the weak spot that people say, oh, well, this all sounds too good to be true, because I cannot turn the phone offline and walk away for indefinite periods of time. I have to refresh the VTXOs. Like earlier, I showed that example of the VTXO is associated with a particular block. it's only going to live for 28 days from that moment, from that block. After that point, I would have to refresh the money. I'd actually have to come online to refresh before that. So what you can do is you can delegate from yourself to somebody else. You could delegate your refresh to another person, and then they can come online on your behalf in order to refresh the funds. This would go away with a covenant upgrade into Bitcoin. So if we had a soft fork to put in something like CTV or template hash, this would completely go away, and there would be no more concerns about liveness requirements in the ARK. But with the layer 1 Bitcoin protocol as it is right now, this is what is required in order to keep the user experience moving. So we really want to hammer down our delegated refreshes, make the system strong, safe, reliable, and then virtual channels. So right now, I mentioned earlier that inside of the ARK, if we're all making ARK payments to each other, the payments are free. But, life, nothing is really free. What is the trade-off that it comes? The trade-off that comes is that every time that I'm transacting, the exit cost goes up of the money that I hold that would be used to unilaterally exit. So if I have
the exit on chain, that's what you're talking about.
It's to exit the money on chain in an uncooperative way. So in a cooperative way, if the server is online and cooperative and everything is great, then this is not an issue. It's only if the server goes offline or the server becomes adversarial. So if I have 1,000,
you need a record. Sorry to be asking, interrupting you, but because you need a record of every time the VTXO changes the ownership, and then it needs to tie back to the original UTXO.
Yes,
that's the cost. Yeah. So it gets the size of the transaction or the VTXO, if you want to call it, bigger, and that increases the cost.
Exactly. Yeah, and the imagery of like a chain, right? Like imagine here's the layer 1 Bitcoin, and then there's a link, like all these links on the chain from my money back to there. Every time I'm doing the payment to the next person, we're adding another link to the end of the chain, and that makes the whole chain heavier in an exit scenario. So what would be the solution to this? Virtual channels, so having Lightning inside of the ARK itself. This would alleviate that because it would allow people to make ARK payments to each other at 0 fee without needing to add links for every single flow of money. Instead, you could have channel balances inside the individual VTXOs that increase and decrease. And this is something that we're working on in collaboration with Spiral. It's the work of Greg Sanders, Instagibbs, and that's really cool.
I have some questions concerning privacy and security on ARK. Like, we recently saw a company in the open named Spark, I think, which is trying to bring Lightning to the masses or to measure.
And they are doing it.
Banks
badly, but they are doing it.
But it is my concern, and I think yours as well, that there could be some data mining operations behind it. When it comes to ARK and seconds as our main focus, what is the current status of transaction privacy, VTX malleability? What is the current state of the art on
So one immediate difference between ARK and Spark for that privacy is that we do not publish a block explorer. So if you give somebody an ARK address, you cannot go to a website to go look up that person's balances in public. Your balances are private to you, but the coordinator of the server does see what's going on inside of the server. So you're able to generate multiple addresses, practice address reuse, similar things that you would do to on-chain. But ultimately, because the ARK server has a co-signature on the movement of money inside of the ARK, they necessarily have to see where the money is going. Because if I'm making a payment to Carlos, I'm going to the captain and we're doing this co-signature together. We both sign and then the money moves. The ARK server has knowledge of that payment happening.
Yeah,
so it's
again, it's just like Bitcoin, and it's pseudonymous. So unless you say to the coordinator or the captain, "Hey, I'm Carlos," so
Yep.
just knows it's So.
Exactly correct. Yeah. So
Is there
go ahead.
Sure. Go on. I was about to ask if there's any improvement to be made on that, or if there are some things on the roadmap to improve privacy or security, like transaction privacy. Like, is there anything?
I think transaction privacy is a bit of a touchy topic. We're not going to any external monitoring services. We're not reporting back with the lists of who did the ARK wars. That's not part of the system. We're transparent about how much the ARK server sees, and I'm happy to give more updates later. One cool thing actually with pay joins, so we're able to do pay join boards into the ARK. I did a proof of concept of that, also in collaboration with Cashew. So what you can do is that you can even board the ARK with a pay join transaction. So that's one more step of anonymity of moving money into the ARK from the outside is through the specific board. But this is a non-standard way to board the ARK. This currently cannot be done in the stock ARK. You would have to use some type of modified client. That's not the standard Bark client in order to do that at this time. But we're always experimenting for more ways to add more privacy, add more security. And the best way to do that is not our own efforts, but it's through our collaborations with the rest of the developer community. It was working with the Cashew team and with the PayJoin team that allowed us to get that proof of concept done. And that's the most important thing here, is that we are all trying to win together with ARK. ARK is a protocol. There's two implementations. There's Bark and there's Arcade. I want them both to win, because what I want is I want to open source Bitcoin payments ARK to be the way that we do this. I don't want the community to fall prey to custodial systems. We don't want people to use custodial Lightning, closed source, banking software. That's not the vision of the cypherpunk movement. That's not what Bitcoin people are coming together to build together as a team. So when we reach out to people and we say, listen, we are working here at Second, here's how far along we are, and here's our honest limitations, there's always more developers saying, listen, we see what you're doing, we agree with your vision, and we want to work together with you to make that more viable for use, more private, and more secure. So all of those additions that came through people like Dan Gould, a special shout out to him, special shout out to TSK from Cashew, who helped get those demos up and running.
Okay. And there's also a major concern right now at this, in the market, which is of fractional reserve Bitcoin. I guess I must touch on this subject as well for ARK. We know that on chain there are.
As Matthew showed you, you can click on it and see where you're.
Yeah. I know. But there's no, like, in the future, in a long future ahead of us, there are no, like, there's a liquidity limit on ARK, right? It's the limit of the UTXO associated with it, right?
Right.
So we know, like, who are going to be the people like hosting these types of services. Like, you need to have a good UTXO
Needed to have balance. So it's similar to running a Bitcoin Lightning node.
Yeah.
So the liquidity on your node is the liquidity you put in.
Yeah. Well,
So with an ARK coordinator, it falls down roughly the same way. So
Yeah, and one other point about the fractional reserve, just to address that too, is that with the ARK, you're able to do proof of reserves. So we were able to do the world's first proof of reserve system for Cashew, because what a mint can do is it can spend money to itself and then publish that spend publicly as an attestation that it happened. So if I am even like this is what treasury companies could be doing too, in theory, or anyone who holds a Bitcoin balance, is that they can send the money to themselves. And then what happens is that the ARK server is co-signing, yeah, at this moment in time, when this person sent the money to themselves, that is, they definitely do have that balance of money at this timestamp. That is absolutely known as a minimum balance. So that helps a lot with fractional reserve and trusting that your counterparty actually has the Bitcoin that they say they do.
so I guess we're reaching a tipping point in our Bitcoin development and scaling layers. Like there needs to be some optimization on where do we put the funding. So we don't see in a long time horizon, we don't see every person in the world holding a on-chain UTXO. We don't see every person in the world holding a Lightning node, an operating Lightning node. We also don't see every person in the world operating a ARK service provider node.
and you're not supposed to.
Yeah, and I know. But what would be the optimal like architecture for like a full-scale national Bitcoin deployment? What would be the architecture you guys would suggest? Like if we had to mirror the current banking system and its infrastructure, what would we be using on Bitcoin to replace it with? Like
I think that people could definitely run an ARK server for a particular location. Like one of the benefits for the ARK server is that you have all the money stays inside of the system. The users hold it in their own self custody. So let's say you take the country of Portugal. Portugal could run a Portuguese ARK, and then everybody inside of Portugal who has a wallet, they're all connected to the same ARK. They are each other's local economy. In order to remove money out of the country and send it to another country, the ARK server is taking a cut of that, almost like a tariff or a tax, right? Like if you keep the money inside to your own people in your own country, we want to encourage that. But as soon as the money starts to leave and go elsewhere, it could be a protectionary measure. That's like what Japan did for automotives, right? Like they encourage the price of the automotives inside the country is lower, and then foreign cars are more expensive. America does a similar thing as well. So if there was to be a country that was running an ARK dedicated to a particular nation, then this is what would be happening. Right now, that's not the model. The model is multinational ARK, right? Like the BARK, the second ARK server, the captain, he lives on that Belgian-French border, and he serves people all around the world, in Africa, in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia. They're all using it for payments. So every country, every group of people that comes and joins with that particular ARK, they get part of the network effects too. So say South Korea joins, South Korea can make all those nice ARK payments with the Africans and with the Portuguese people, all part of the same network effect. I think it's definitely healthy that the whole world does not fall under one network effect. I think that it is good long term that people will have to, there should be a balance of power. There should not be only one company servicing the whole world under a single network.
Are ARKs interoperable? So it's you need to get out, go on chain, and go to go to another ARK.
You can go from ARK to ARK through Lightning.
Yeah, Lightning is the glue for everything.
Yeah.
Lightning is the connective tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see sorry, Abjad, I know you wanted to chip in something, but I see that maybe even more locally instead of maybe it's overkill, but like closed communities or like circular economies, like the Oeste and the North and the South, and they all have their little arcs for the community, and if you want to leave, you have to pay. I bet it's not that much, but yeah. But you get the point.
Yeah, that
But
would
it's
be
probably overkill, right?
yeah, that would be the incentive would be like, because there's an incentive with ARK, there is a centralizing force. The protocol, it is centralized because the coordinator is central to all of the coordination, and there's only one of him, right? So if you want to minimize it, the only thing would be that you only want to limit the network effect to a specific zone or particular individuals. But I don't see how that's advantageous in general.
Yeah.
I think that even if there was different people in different parts of Portugal, it would still benefit all of them in a positive sum way, that they all were on the same arc. But naturally, there should not be one winner takes all. There should be multiple vying. That's why I like to see Bark alongside Arcade. I like to see both of us with our market share, right?
But are you interoperable with Arcade? So I can send from Bark to Arcade,
Not natively
but
yet.
through Lightning.
Through Lightning, there's people working on independent swaps. So there's people like I know StuTXO started building Cerberus client, which you can use for Bark to Arcade interoperable swaps. So there's different third-party people putting it together. It would really be a dream come true for me if we could have some type of native interoperability between them.
I would like to end our conversation with a couple of questions related to regulations and like the government itself. We're seeing FinCEN. Well, we saw the jail of the Samurai developers. We see FinCEN and the American government coming after us. They want us to ask for permission for money licensing transmission licenses or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys need a money license, money transfer license to operate ARK?
This is not my area of expertise. I don't believe so, but I cannot answer that. The regulation area is not what I work on directly. But I don't think that we fall into that.
This was supposed to be a meme question,
Yeah.
because there's no need for a money licensing transmission license or something like that for running a Lightning node. I think there's no need for one as well for ARK.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, that's if a business wants to operate one, right? Like with ARK, like anyone could take that code and start running the ARK and fund the ARK. It's not operating like a regular commercial business. It's a software.
Yeah, but do you guys fear you developers? I think Carlos is showing his face. You as well. Let's end the podcast on a hot topic. That is, do you guys actually fear? Do you guys have any concerns for your security, like for working on ARK or anything ARK related? Do you guys have any fear of the government, or you're just reckless?
I only fear God.
Carlos only fears God. That's a good answer.
Great
That's
answer.
because you're not married.
That's funny.
No, I mean,
I think that what we're doing is legitimate. I don't think that we're doing anything categorically similar to something that I would be imprisoned for. I don't see it that way at all. Like, we're building, like, SegWit gave us Lightning, Taproot gives us ARK. It's not some other thing. It's a completely legitimate, fair thing. I'm happy to associate myself with it publicly. I don't think we're doing anything illegal or immoral in any way. It's a win-win for everybody.
I actually agree with you. I think the immoral and the illegal is on the other side of the bridge. It's on the central banking cartel. Those are the guys doing illegal stuff, and nobody comments on them. So
Right.
yeah, we don't have a fractional reserve Bitcoin on our side. We don't have illegal shenanigans with the banking sector. So I think those are the guys who need to justify their works, not we. But yeah, Matthew, thank you so much for coming to our Portuguese Bitcoin Cult podcast.
I'm very happy to.
You
Thank you so
see
much.
Carlos smiling. I think
Yeah.
you've reached the degree of a 33-degree Mason or something like that on our Bitcoin Cult.
Sounds great.
I'll just share my screen once again, and the last time, to share these guys' accounts on X if you guys want to follow them. This is the second X account. Throw some eyes into this. They have a couple of videos showing and displaying the user experience of the ARK protocol. This is the X account of Matthew. Matthew, if you want to say a couple of last words on yourself and what you'll be working on, where can people find you?
You can follow me on X. You can see my last few posts here. I have a post about ARK. And below, I met the guy who built Donald Trump Truth Social, who now is working on Noster instead. And there's a nice interview with him. And then right after that is a Bitcoin meetup that I'm running here locally in my community in Waterloo, Canada. So we have an event tonight that we have about, I think, 9 people coming, and we're going to meet for the Southern Ontario Waterloo Bitcoin community.
How big is the Bitcoin community in Canada?
It's pretty big. We have a national Bitcoin conference. There's people all over the country. Some local meetups will sometimes even be bigger than conferences. I've been to local meetups that have 50 to 100 people. When we had the last halving party, I think 200 people were there in total.
Wow.
And it's not even in the major cities. I find the most people are people who drive cars in suburban to rural areas. So having these meetups like outside of the downtown core, having people don't want to meet to talk about Bitcoin in the city center. They love to talk about Bitcoin in faraway areas.
That's good to know. Yeah, here in Portugal, we also have a couple of meetups all spread across the country, and the curiosity is, Lisbon might be the region where there's few meetups in Portugal, and it's the capital of the country. So that's also a good curiosity. What about you, Carlos? You wanna say a couple of last words? I'm showing your X account. Guys, just throw a follow on these accounts. Follow them. Matthew doesn't need more followers, but Carlos does. Give a follow to these guys. Carlos, queres despedir-te de nós? Queres deixar aí umas palavras? Não?
Em português?
Em português ou em inglês, é como quiseres.
Yeah. So guys, follow me on X. I build cool stuff on Bark. I built a Bark wallet for Umbrella and Start9. I'm building a few more interesting projects. You can also follow me on Instagram at Bitcoin, and I teach about Bitcoin to noobs. I guess. Yeah, that's it. I'm in Madeira. If you want to hang out, send me a message.
Have you been having success with the noobs?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Yeah, in Portugal, we have a long road ahead of us towards Hyper-Bitcoinization. So we need more Matthews and more Carlos
the whole world needs. It's
Yeah.
not just Portugal.
But yeah, that's it, guys. This
Thank you
was
for having
our special edition of Aceita Bitcoin. We're back. We're back, baby. We're back. Episode number 116, dedicated to the ARK protocol and its applications. We actually didn't talk about the ARK-D, the library you guys can use to develop ARK applications, but we need a couple of workshops, not only on Lightning but also on ARK development. Let's see what we can do in the future. Let me just say there was a meetup in Lisbon where we were on the block, a space known for shitcoining in Portugal, but I think the owner is having a big orange pill in the last months, and maybe we can use that space for local technical workshops in Lisbon. Let's see where this can go. If there's a partnership to be made between the Seita and the block. They have a cool space there that's mostly empty all around the year, so I guess we can fill it with Bitcoin instead of shitcoins. That would be a good place to start. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to those who have been listening. We're back. That's what I just want to say. And
We're
yeah,
back
Matthew, it was
this
a
week.
pleasure meeting you in Porto, and let's hope we see you again in not so distant future. Yeah,
Sounds-
Tiago, queres fechar com alguma coisa? Matthew,
Não,
Carlos, any
agradecer,
last words?
agradecer aos dois. Agradecer aos dois por terem vindo. O Matthew percebe mais ou menos português, não? Mais ou menos. Thank you for coming. Oh, you were lost. Thank you both for coming and taking Jeta's invitation. And I'm not sure. At least we are back this week. Next week we'll see.
I guess you're right. We're back temporarily.
No, but yeah, maybe we can reintroduce a couple of Seitas now and then. Yeah,
I have a
That's
couple of
good to
ideas after the conference we had in Porto. I have a couple of ideas.
yeah, it's good to be back.
It's good to be back. Oh yeah,
And then talking cool stuff and cool tech
yeah,
being made.
yeah. So guys, good night to everyone. Boa noite a todos. Foi prazer ter-vos aqui. Até uma próxima. Portem-se bem, bem-aja a todos. E stay in blends taxados, guys. Let's go.